Hello everyone and welcome to the Cherry Heart podcast. I'm Sandra and this is episode 125 I think of the podcast. It is a crafty podcast where I talk about crochet and knitting and sewing for the most part, and this is the Christmas special, woo! Which is very exciting because I wear a Christmas jumper. This time with gorgeous Dalmatians on in their festive gear. Look at this one. Oh my god. It's so cute. I want to make a jumper for Bertie. I've been meaning to make one for the longest time. But look, these colours are gorgeous. Maybe I should make him one like that. So yes, Christmas jumper and by the Christmas tree. This is what denotes that it is a Christmas special. That's pretty much it. Everything else is as per usual. So yes, thanks for joining me and I hope you enjoy it. If you are new, if you found me through VLOGMAS, which I'm doing again this year, then yeah, I hope you enjoy the podcast as well. So let's do my beginning spiel. So you will find the show notes for this podcast on my blog, which is cherryheart.co.uk. That's where I'll put the pattern names and yarn names and any other useful bits of information. So if you don't catch something I say, you know, if you miss it come up on the screen or whatever, then yeah, just pop along to the show notes and it should be there for you. You can also navigate this video using the chapters which pop up along the bottom of the screen here when you hover your mouse. You can use those and they're also listed as timestamps in the description box below, so you can see all the different things I talk about and you can jump to the ones that are interesting to you, or you know, jump back and just watch that bit again, whatever you want to do. And you can find me around the web as Cherry Heart, but I'm mostly on Instagram, which is Sandra Cherry HRT is my name on there. That is it. So we may begin. So how are you? How are you all doing? We're doing okay. Trying to get into the Christmas spirit. Looking at Christmas trees. While I say that, don't know why, but yes, gone for a red and white theme this year. I normally have sort of kind of pastels on this tree. It started with kind of whites and golds, and then pinks came in and a few greens and things. Yeah, I haven't had my red things out for a while, so I thought we'd try a bit of a red and white motif, and I got these new things, so it was a good chance to use those. Anyway, let's get to the crafty chatter. So where to begin? I'll begin with knitting. So I have a knitting project. So this is a work in progress. So if you've been here before, you would have seen this before. And it's in my lovely So Sweet Violet bag, my happy bag. Because it does make me happy. So that's appropriate. Probably need to change it for a Christmas bag though, don't I now? To be more seasonally appropriate. So I've been spending a lot of time on this. I haven't worked on an awful lot else really, apart from a couple of little bits. So I've made some quite decent progress on it. So I basically got the body, which does look short, but it's a boxy, so it's going to be wide, and it's not especially long in the pattern. I have made mine a bit longer because I'm a bit longer in the body. Yeah, so I made each of these, can we see this? Yeah. So each of these strips between the lace pattern bit, I just made a little bit wider. Yeah, so I've done that and I've just put the neck on because I was a little bit concerned because it's just this sort of roll neck. I was a bit concerned about how much it might roll down. So that's the back, and I don't like it when it rolls over and you can kind of see the seam. So I thought I'll quickly knit that on and try it on and see if it is going to sit okay. and I left sort of my end of my yarn on there in case I needed to sort of make it a little bit longer, or I thought if it comes to it I might undo it and just put a few rows of ribbing on there if it's sort of not sitting how I want. But I tried it on and it seems to be fine, so I've left it. Yeah, so I cast off the hem the other day, and I did do a twisted rib on there, which isn't in the pattern, but I just thought it helps the sort of knit stitches stay nice and tight together, rather than I find they tend to flare out otherwise. So I've done that. So just the sleeves to go, just a little trip to Sleeve Island for me. Because it is boxy and quite wide, so you are starting your sleeve quite far down, so it shouldn't be too bad. I think, wondering if the pattern is actually a 3/4 sleeve. I'm not sure that it comes all the way to the end. I'll have to check that. But yeah, really liking how this is turning out. So the yarn is Dandelion and Dogwood yarn and is absolutely stunning. Let's get this nice and close so you can see. Ooh, getting a strange shadow there. It's Bottle Brush Trees is the name of it. And then the lace bits is also Dandelion and Dogwood, and it's their mohair yarn in She's Naked. This is, not sure which type of yarn it is. I think just sock. I think. Shall we check for you? Let's see. Got one here. Yeah, perfect sock. 80% merino, 20% nylon. So I have got 4 of these, but this is my second one and I've still got some left, so I'm definitely not going to need 4. Yeah, so I'm doing all right for that. So I'll have some left over, which is quite exciting because I do really love it. So I can use it for something else. I was thinking it would look nice. Let's move on. Let's merge seamlessly into the next section, which is, so I released my Baubles and Berries wrap. I should get that to show you, shouldn't I? Well, that was a harder task than I thought it would be, and rather disturbingly, I can't find it. So I don't know what on earth I've done with that. I thought I knew where it was as well. I thought it was in my bedroom. But I can't see it. I've looked in the craft room, I've looked down here. I don't know, there's no explanation for that. I'll probably have a brainwave after I've stopped filming and go, oh, of course. I took it to so-and-so and put it blah blah. Yes, anyway, so I shall put a clip in so you know what I'm talking about. But yes, I released that at the end of November. So thank you ever so much to everyone that's brought a copy of that or said any kind words about it or shared it in their stories or anywhere else. So yes, thank you ever so much for that. And for everyone who's using it for their Advent pattern this year, I hope you're enjoying it. Yeah, it's very exciting. So I was going to make a second one anyway, is the point. And I have all of these gorgeous yarns here. So there's a mixture in here of a Dandelion and Dogwood and also West Green Lofts yarns. And I've, when did I get these? I got these at least a couple of years ago, I think. I can't remember if they're last year or the year before. I think the year before. Yeah, so I've already gone through and sorted out my, you know, colour arrangement and decided how I'm going to have them all. So it's just a case of actually unwinding them, or winding them up rather, and starting. But I haven't actually started yet. And it's day 7 and I haven't even started yet. It's terrible, isn't it? Not like me. I'm normally quite good at keeping on top of these things. But I did kind of wonder about having these colours in, but also having some of this in, like every other one to be that one. Oh, every other section to be the bottle brush trees, and interweave these through just to have more of a like a different look to it, but also maybe sort of because my other one, which you've seen, is kind of, you know, a whole sort of range of colours going into each other, sort of almost rainbow-esque. I wondered if I could have this one more not monochrome, but you know, just sort of less range of colours, basically, a bit more muted, because these colours are a little bit more muted anyway. But then I could just use some of these, alternate with the bottle brush, and then keep some of these for something else. So that was a thought that occurred. So that might be something to do with why I've procrastinated a little bit. But these are gorgeous. Just seeing them again, I'm like, oh, I want to get into them. They're so pretty. Look at that. It's so pretty. Yes. So need to get going on that. Need to get started on that. But now it's looking like I'll definitely have at least one skein left of that. And it's not going to use all of another skein just to do the sleeves, especially when you consider I've got some left. So I might have enough to do that. Maybe I'll try that. And this is actually in a Christmas bag. This is So Sweet Violet as well, actually. This was one of her advents quite a few years ago now, I think. But yeah, I really like it. I love this fabric. It's got her little birdie badge on it too. So next up, I've got some embroidery stitching to show you. So again, this is an advent calendar. So again, a few years ago, I like to, when I get advent calendars, when I get them the first year, the unwrapping them and seeing what's inside and is kind of enough of a present for me. It's such a treat to sort of see what's inside each day and just pore over it and see how pretty they are and look at it. That kind of keeps me going for them that year. So it's always at least the next year before I actually use anything I get in an advent calendar usually, and in some cases possibly longer. So yeah, so these are from the Stitchery advent calendar, so that's Nikki Franklin. And I've got a few in here. There was various different things in the calendar. I can't remember if it was 12 days or 24, but anyway, there were quite a few lovely little stitch kits to do that I haven't done yet. Some I am a little bit afraid of, I must admit. This chap, I'm kind of a bit afraid of doing him. I've had a little go with the silver thread now, and it's not the easiest to use, but yeah, I'm a little bit worried about filling them all in. My satin stitch isn't very good. Not sure that is satin stitch. And then you can't see these ones very well. Can you see that? There's an angel in there, lots of silver on her. And this polar bear. I should take them out of the things for you. There we go, there's the polar bear. I'm a little bit afraid of him as well because he's all filled in. I feel like that might be difficult to do. Going back so I can show you the angel properly. There we go. So yeah, so I'm partly, like I say, they kind of open them one year and enjoy them and then do them another year, but I have been slightly afraid. I'm not very confident of my embroidery, you see, and I'm always thinking I'm just going to mess it up, and they're so beautiful. It'd just be horrible to mess them up. So that's yeah, that kind of is what delays me. So the one I have done, there's also this one as well. This is the last one, I think. So I've started this one. I've done one and I've started this one. I felt I could cope with this one because there's not all this sort of filling in stitch which worries me. It's more line work, which I feel like I can cope with a bit better. Yeah, so the one I've done is the Peace and Joy. So that one, and there's my piece. So those are going to be, what's the word? Gift tags. So you make these into gift tags. So I'm going to do that with those. So those were nice and little and manageable. Really enjoyed doing those. Very pleased with this candy cane thing going on here. Look at that. I've never done couching before, which is what this requires. But yeah, it came out, one of the sticks didn't come out as good as the other. But overall, I'm very pleased with how that looks. The candy canes look so pretty. So yeah, very happy with that. And then I've just done, one of them's going to be to me because I can't bear to give them all away. So I've just done a sort of name that I can put on the back. And then I've got some for some other people as well. And I also have, while I'm doing the tags, is lovely Sam, who used to run the channel Betsy Makes, got me these fabric tags. So she'd made an advent calendar for me a couple of years ago and it had these fabric tags in, so I've cut one out already. So I'm going to make those up as well. Again, I meant to do that last year. There was quite a few things I meant to do last year, but then I ended up having some health issues, so a lot of stuff got abandoned. But this year I'm getting back to it. So, and then I have also embroidered, so I've got 3 of those and I've embroidered some names to go on the back of those, which I'll show you. Hubby's name, there you go. That's supposed to say Gary, in case that's not clear. Yeah, so those are on some nice fabric ready to be stitched up. Must do that. And then I have started this one, as I've said. I haven't got very far with this. I've got it in its little loop and I've just started the outline. But yeah, that's... I like embroidery, I enjoy doing it, but it's... like I say, I don't feel very confident with it, so it's always a bit, ooh, is this going to go horrifically wrong? But everything I've done so far I've enjoyed. Luckily, you know, Nikki does tell you what to do, what sort of stitches to do and everything. I want to do this one next because I really love the car, but I am very much afraid of this. I don't know if you can sort of see how textured the tree is with sort of bands across it. Ooh, it's a worry. I don't know if I can do that. Hopefully I'll manage okay, but yeah, I thought I'd start with that one that seemed a bit easier. So let's move on to some crochet. So I have been making some little orange slices for no particular reason, other than, I don't know, I've made like little crochet toppers before. I've got my Twinkler Stars pattern. I'll pop a link to that in. It's just like a sort of a tiny little crochet star in a kind of granny square style, I suppose. Yeah, so I've used those before, and I've done Christmas trees. I used my summer bunting as little green Christmas trees. I can link to that as well if you like. Yeah, so I have done crochet toppers before, so I thought orange slices might look rather nice. Yes, and I had this orange yarn, so I thought, oh well, I'll try that. I quite like them. I think they came out alright. They are fiddly, so I don't know if you can see. I've just changed colours to make the segments. I did try doing it. I tried a couple where I did it as a front post to make them stand out a bit more, but that was kind of a bit awkward, and I think that still works okay. The only thing with this orange I've got for the paler orange is it has got these little grey twinges in it, which isn't ideal in an orange slice, but never mind. I haven't got much in the orange yarn department, so this is fitting the bill rather nicely. And then I tried one the other way around with the darker centre, like a blood orange maybe that could be. And I did one that had a little crocheted loop on the outside, but I preferred this more sort of rustic string thing going on. Yeah, so I've made a few of those. Like I say, because you have to change colour really quite frequently, they are a little bit of a faff to do, so I don't know that I'll be making one to go on all my presents. I've got quite a red, green and white paper, so I'm not sure how well the oranges will go on. Anyway, I've got some nice brown paper as well, so it'll work with some, but it won't work with all the paper I have. So, but yeah, I've got some. So I will pop up, I mean, it's not exactly rocket science, it's just a circle, but I will pop up the instructions for what I did. I've got a little thing that I can upload to Instagram, which I'll pop up at some point soon. Yeah, just to sort of say what I did, but I'm sure it's quite clear. Sort of circles. Yeah, so look out for that on Instagram if you're interested in trying that out, and I might pop it up on the blog as well. Nice to put something up on the blog occasionally, isn't it? Keep it having some use. So this is, you could make it out of any yarn. So this size, I'll put it on my hand. There you go, that's a size reference. I don't know what size that is. 6 centimetres, 7 centimetres maybe. Yeah, so I used 4-ply yarn for those, just because that's what I had the orange in, and my white is just the white that I happen to have here, which is the Drops Baby Merino, which is actually sport weight, but it's close enough that it works. And I'm using a 3mm hook. Yeah, so that's pretty much all I have to say about those, I guess. But yeah, you could use any yarn. Well, within range. I'm not sure you'd want chunky orange slices, would you? But yeah, I'm sure DK would work or something, if that's what you have. So the last thing to talk about is another sewing project. So let me just grab that. Here we go. Now, is this going to fit on? Ish. There we go. Yeah, so this is my new advent calendar that I've made this year. So this is a So Sweet Violet pattern. This is the So Sweet Violet episode. Seem to be saying those words a lot. So it's by Lovely Lovely Jewels, and it's a gorgeous pattern. And now I'm meant to make this, so I brought the pattern last year. I was going to make this last year. I think I got about as far as laying these sort of fabrics out, and that was as far as I got, and I didn't come back to it. So it's been really lovely to come back and actually make the pattern this year. So the gold fabrics I have, these were some squares that I got from Lovely Sam, Betsy makes. These were sort of pre-cut, I guess 10 centimetre squares they were. So that worked well for the pockets, and then I just used you know, a plain fabric to line the inside so I could keep them to the right size. And yeah, and then everything else is, I just followed Jules's pattern basically. The only change I made was I added a little bit more holly down here, just because I had the gold fabrics, it was gold based, and I wanted you know, to stick to the same colours of holly. I didn't want to sort of go gold with the holly. I thought that just sort of balanced it out to have a little bit of that colour down there as well as just at the top. But I went for gold for my embroidery. And I even managed to use, I had a few of these squares that I'd used for the pockets. I had a few of those left over, so I sewed those all together and then cut them into strips, and I managed to get the binding out of those, which was quite pleasing. And then on the back, I've just gone for this. I didn't have many yellowy goldy type fabrics. I mean, it is on the back, so I guess it doesn't matter, it could have been anything. But where I'm hanging this, it's on a glass door, so you could see the back from the other side. And I thought this was Though it doesn't really quite go, I thought it was just at least a pretty fabric, so it'd look nice from the other side, so that's what I've gone with. But yeah, that was really fun to do. I really enjoyed that, especially putting the little holly buttons on. They look so cute. There's actually this button. Look, I found this nice shiny round button. That's really good. I only had one of those, but yeah, my hanging stick is a bit of temporary garden cane, as you can see. My plan was I put a thing to have a stick in the back, which I thought, well, that'll keep the top nice and straight, and then I can just hang it up by these rings. So, because I think in the pattern it says to put some loops on, which I think I either forgot, or I think I just forgot. So I thought, oh, I've got these rings, I'll put these on, that'll do the same job. So that was fine, but then, and my sort of plan was to sort of thread through and have like a triangle, but it didn't sort of stay, you know, nice. Even with the stick in, it's still scrunched up at the top and really hung forward, so that didn't work. So it's better if you hang it up from either side. So I just got a stick because I've only got one little bit on my door, and I didn't want to go making more holes on my door. So you know, I've only got one hanging point, but I've got 2 loops. So this was my sort of compromise as a way to keep it nice and straight and upright. But I need to kind of paint this stick white or get a better, nicer bit of stick. But this does the job for now. So yeah, I'm really pleased to have done that. And it fits lovely goodies in for me to eat. There. Yeah, so that will probably be it for me. So thank you ever so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed the Christmas special episode, and thank you so much for sort of being here this year, and you know, just for everything throughout the year, supporting the channel, leaving comments. People leave some absolutely lovely comments, and I try to go back to as many of them as I can, but it's not always possible, but they're just so appreciated. So this is a good time of year to say that and say, yeah, it's really lovely, and it's sort of becoming such a nice community here on YouTube. And you know, that was missing, you know, that it used to be in the blog world, I suppose, but it's all very quiet over there now. And yeah, it's just nice to sort of find that same kind of community going on over here. So that's been really good. So thank you for that, and thank you for buying my patterns and liking my posts on Instagram and anything else that you may do. It's just all very much appreciated. So I hope you have a very lovely Christmas season. I hope you enjoy your Christmas if you celebrate it. I hope you get to have a nice break or a restful time, even if you don't celebrate it. And yes, I will see you, no doubt, in the new year, in 2023. What a terrifying thought. Yeah, but everyone have a lovely time, and many best wishes for the new year, and I will see you next time. Bye.